Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by Sarah Levine. Holy smokes, folks. What's good, Sarah?
What is good? I don't know. I'm still engaged in a fight with PayPal/Grubhub combination.
Ugh, God.
PayPal denied my claim immediately. I went like full lawyer on their asses.
There
I
we
was
go.
just like, is it? I was like, I was just like, someone used my Grubhub connected to PayPal to place an order. I sent Danny the whole email and whatever. Anyway, basically my points were like, saying that because I authorized PayPal for Grubhub, that I authorize every Grubhub transaction. I called it victim blaming, which maybe is crazy. I was like, here are my receipts. This shows that I was on Long Island at the time that this order was placed in Rhode Island. And I was like, is it really your testimony, PayPal, that if someone uses your service to commit fraud, that you are not responsible for the fraud, and it is in fact the victim's responsibility for having been defrauded? I was like, please tell me if that is in fact your position, because I'm sure the public would love to know this. Like, this would be of great interest to the public.
Is that your testimony, Peter Thiel? Is that your testimony?
Basically. So, I mean, I didn't say that. It was a very measured, calm tone, I think. It was many paragraphs, and
I did. Well, that was my note. Sarah sent it to me for a review, and I said throw more paragraphs in there because I think you've been reading a little bit too many academic papers. You know,
too many Reddit situations. It's more like it.
Yeah, no joke. Some of these Redditors, 5 to 7 sentences in a paragraph. Calm down. No more. Break that text up. I can't read.
No, definitely not more.
You know, it gets crazy. Yeah, I mean, well, interestingly enough, so we had our live show. Shout out to the people who came. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
we
so
had so
fun.
much fun. And we're already talking about the next one. I know we need to do a Cali version, and I think we went with Queens, which was convenient for Sarah, but I'm hoping that if we put it in the city,
I don't even begrudge you for that. It's convenient for no one else. Like,
yeah, I think we got to put it in New York City, Manhattan. But anyway,
yeah, no, it's totally fine.
We'll build toward that. We'll see what can happen.
That.
But yeah, that the venue owner had also said that her shit had been compromised as well. So there's probably some kind of data breach.
There's a Grubhub data breach. That's why they're also taking, like, when I had first called, they said someone would get back to me in 48 hours. It's been over a week. They haven't responded to me, except to say that we're working on it. So I think there's been a data breach.
Yeah.
I think
Crooks.
it also, honestly, like, seriously DM me, because, like, I don't know. I think it could be an interesting story about, there's this Grubhub hack.
Yeah.
So seriously, DM me if you have been hacked from Grubhub specifically. And seriously, let me know. I did tell PayPal I was a journalist, and I was like, this is of a matter in the public interest. So fuck you.
For real? No, I mean your email is pretty nuclear.
Thank you.
Gonna get them. Shout outs to our new patrons, Vince, Callie, Kadeka, and Shosho Nuff. Very special shout out to Sarah. Thank you for your extra support there.
Not me, by the way, another Sarah.
Yeah, this was a different Sarah, but also a special shout out to you, Sarah, because, you know, you're great. So I did want to tease some stuff in the Patreon because there's a fair amount of juice we just threw behind the paywall. And yes, I can't even call it a breakup, but I was rejected after 3 dates. I didn't get my 4th date. Very unusual for me. I have a pretty good ratio with these kinds of things, but really botched it. I go into details. Needless to say, I point the gun at myself and pull the trigger a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? The other thing is the live show. We recorded it, and that is on Patreon. You can watch the video and listen to the audio of that. I guess I'm saying this here because if you would be interested in just watching that or buying that, let me know, because I'm like, maybe we should just sell that a la carte. I don't really know, but it's a really fun show. And you can access it right now on the Patreon. And it's $5 a month, and we really appreciate your support. So you get it. You've heard it. Let's read this comment. We got a nice comment for once. Hey, Danny. And by the way, fuck you guy who went on my personal TikTok and said, this is why people hate you. No, that's not why.
Are you serious?
That's not why.
What a jackass.
It was a stupid video I made where I was standing in front of a pyramid at one of the fucking Luxor Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And my dumb joke was that it's sad to see another American monument ruined by capitalism or commercialism, whatever. Stupid joke.
Very stupid. Very obviously a joke.
very obviously a joke. And then this person trolled onto my TikTok. I said, if you wanna fight with me, DM me on my Instagram at Danny Vegagram. If you have a bone to pick that bone, dog. But yeah, they just wrote like this unhinged, oh, this is why people don't like you. And I was like, why have you brought this here to my innocent, stupid Luxor TikTok?
This is why I'm private on TikTok, because I don't want to go viral on there. It brings like all types of people. When like I was making this for my niche audience of 300 friends, like I did not want you to see it. Like I don't want your commentary.
I've been ripped apart by TikTok before. I don't even want to get into the great stitching incident.
I don't like it. Like, it takes your stuff out of context. Like, I don't want that at all.
I was the animals of TikTok. That's feeding on my blood and flesh for days at a time.
Ew.
Finally cracking me. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance for this kind of thing because I like to annoy people. You know, that's why I live in Cali and I used to live in NYC and I love visiting San Fran. But like,
and making piss offs in Hot Atlanta.
There we go. But like, yeah, they stitched me, they duetted me, and they finally cracked
for
my
the pyramid
ass, and
scheme
I deleted
video?
it. No, it was for a different video. It was for the stupid
man.
video. It was a bad video, but whatever.
Oof.
I didn't deserve.
That's rough.
I didn't deserve to be fed on by the flesh of the TikTok zombie movement, but whatever. Anyway.
Rough. Yeah, no, I'm just.
Nice comment here. They write, I'm a long time listener. That'd be interesting if they were a long listener, though. They're like, I'm 7'2".
One binge session for 48 hours. And never again. And never again.
Every single episode. Wow. I think you both bring different perspectives to the table, and I love listening to your discussions. I just wanted to address the situation. And OP, we loved it, and we read what you wrote, but it was a little bit long. So we just kind of summarized our favorite part, which is they wrote, this was on episode 380, AITA for picking up my wife from the airport. I thought they brought great insight. Late, yes, picked up the wife late from the airport. And they just wrote that another part of being picked up curbside that probably affected the mother's mood and was very frustrating was that she didn't get a hug or be affectionate with the kids because they were all in the back seat. So I thought that was a great insight.
Yeah.
And this mother also wrote that they recently just had her first solo trip in 11 years. So
11
great
years.
For you.
Oh my God, Mom. You earned it.
You earned it.
Jeez.
But yeah, lots of juice, lots of drama in the Patreon. Sarah, anything you want to report beyond that? Are we ready to jump right into some Guess the Verds?
Ready to jump in.
Here we go. AITA for serving my sister's husband's dinner using toy utensils.
I'm going to go NTA because he was acting like a child. He got served with the toys.
NTA is wrong.
No.
But it also is what I would say. Now,
damn it.
It's funny. We just did a situation like this on the bonus about a disparity between a breadwinner husband and a wife doing the housework. Interestingly, OP is witnessing this situation because he's queer and got kicked out of the parents' house. So he's like kind of a fly on the wall in this house.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Sarah. This is a breadwinner husband asking for wife to do the housework, and it seems like a reasonable arrangement, and then husband starts upping the ante. Now he doesn't want dinner made. No. He wants dinner served to him on a plate. Bring him the plate. Bring him the utensils. He wants her to turn on the shower. Like,
what?
There's like a whole laundry list of like these like things where you're like, okay, that's not really a chore. Like that's like a servant thing to do. Like that's definitely above
100%.
Right? Like that's not housework anymore. So OP witnesses this, decides to fuck with him and plays this pretty great prank, frankly. Serves him his meal on toy utensils and then says, if you're going to act like a child, you can eat like a child.
Oh my God, I fucking called it.
Right? Husband says it's disrespectful. Sister can't stop laughing. Top comment, total being 4278. This is funny and he totally had it coming. But we all know you should have stayed way out of this. Please accept my softest ESH.
Ugh.
I mean,
fine, I guess.
To be fair, whenever we have talked about, I don't want to drop the A word here, but it's definitely borderline.
It's getting into that territory.
Abusive.
No,
because
yeah.
this is something that I had to be taught is you don't fuck with the abusive person. That's never productive.
Right.
That
because it just comes back on the abused person. Totally. And if I wasn't hinging my victory on this, I wouldn't feel so salty. But
yeah,
I can go with that softest of ESHs. Okay. AITA for not buying my kid food.
AITA for not buying my kid food. Wow, that seems really messed up. I'm gonna say YTA.
I thought that too. I don't even understand the situation, so I'm just gonna read it verbatim. This morning, I asked both of my kids what they wanted for breakfast. One requested an omelet, the other waffles. Omelet kid ate, waffle kid refused. We went to church where Mr. Waffle cried about being hungry. I reminded him of the breakfast he refused. I stopped on the way home and bought lunch for me and omelet only. Waffles were reheated for lunch for Waffle Boy. My BF says I'm the asshole. AITA. I don't understand. He got the waffles he wanted and he still refused to eat it for breakfast. I get kids, I guess. I don't really know what to say. But the top comment was NTA. My friend uses this tactic my friends use this tactic on their kids. They get food, and then if they refuse to eat it, it gets put away in the fridge. Next time they complain they're hungry, they can either have what they didn't eat or not eat.
That seems pretty reasonable to me. I mean,
it does.
Seems like a good way to teach kids to eat.
I'm not ready to have kids, I guess. I'm like, you got the waffle you wanted and you didn't eat it? Like, why?
Oh my God, a waffle? What I wouldn't give for a waffle. Generally, when I get rejected or broken up with, I go into this kind of manic health. I actually get this, Sarah. I even lifted a weight today. Can you imagine
a single
that?
weight? I'm proud of you.
It is. It's just a little 10-pound weight. But, you can do some work with those things. I'm going to put on some definition here. By the way, single ladies, I'm in the best shape of my life. Just throwing it out there. Physical shape, mental shape, arguable, very arguable. I mean, you'll have to find out for yourself. Hey, ride the roller coaster. AITA for refusing to help my partner financially.
Oh, this is very vague. Refusing to help financially. I'm going to go with an NTA. I'm going to go with an NTA.
She does it again, people. NTA is right. So the story is that it's a 43F with a 50M. They've been together for 6 years.
Wow.
Now, husband has a daughter. OP has a son. They're both about 20. OP sends son on an expensive trip. It's like a Europe trip. Husband, then the daughter kind of notices and she's like, I want a trip like that. And then the husband asks OP, hey, could I have 30 grand to pay for my daughter's trip?
Excuse me?
Seems like they don't really mix finances. So super doctor astronaut, a very qualified individual here, writes NTA, WTF, my first European vacation was when I was 31 years old and cost a total of roughly $2,500, including airfare.
Yeah, literally. What are you doing for $30,000 in Europe?
My dad shot this down, but I was trying to take a trip with I say I went to Arizona State, but I actually attended the Barrett Honors College,
nice.
Which I didn't actually graduate from because I thought it was so stupid. I was like, I'm not even going to do this. But anyway, yeah, they had like this trip to Paris and it was like legit 30 grand. And then
for what? How long was the trip?
You would get,
That's like a semester
months.
abroad.
It was like months, but like whatever.
Okay.
It was like a month. And
oh my God,
my parents were like, this is ridiculous. And then maybe I was just trying to dig on it, but then someone was like, that professor just tries to fuck all the college girls. That's like the reason he does that trip. And I was like, see, that's why I didn't go. Because I was like, I don't even want to be part of that culture.
There we go. Ew, gross.
Piece of shit.
AITA for asking my girlfriend to put her phone away during dinner.
No, come on, don't be on your phone during dinner. That's a perfectly reasonable request. NTA and she is.
Honestly, I agree with you, but like Reddit didn't go that way. So apparently,
fascinating.
I know, shocker. Apparently, OP and his girlfriend have like a no phones rules at meals, which started because OP actually used his phone too much during meals, and the girlfriend got upset. So then this time they're having dinner, and then the girlfriend's on her phone texting, and she explains that she's talking to her coworker because they think their other coworker is about to quit. And like, I don't know, he's getting annoyed that she's on the phone, and she's kind of saying that like she needs to be on her phone because Jeremy might quit. To me, this is not really urgent, but that's kind of what it was. And then they kind of argued about it. And she said she normally doesn't use her phone, so when she does, it must be very pressing. OP should have realized this and been more understanding, given that it was a rare occurrence. The top comment was, YTA because you used the rule as a hammer. You asked her to put it down, and she did, but she also only did it for like a couple minutes and then picked it back up, so I don't really know what this person's talking about. She said it was important. You dismissed her judgment. You thought the coworker thing could wait. She thought it couldn't. Maybe her conversation was more important than yours. I can think of a dozen time-sensitive scenarios that might affect her work and schedule. I don't know. I don't really buy this. Maybe we should have done this situation.
Maybe. I mean, I think it's like,
I just don't think a coworker quitting. It's drama. It's good.
it's definitely juice.
Unless you work at the White House and your coworker is the president. Like, I don't think that this is like I need to be on my phone at dinner. But it is drama, and I do love gossip, so I understand.
Get her on the pod for sure.
Right? Yeah.
Nonetheless, Sarah is the winner. Guys, please rate,
narrow
review.
margin.
I know. She's killing it, though. Rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. And let's get right into it. Our second story of the day, folks. AITA, for leaving an equal inheritance to my stepson as my bio kids. And yes, we do have one heck of an ep for you today. Our first situation. AITA, for being annoyed that the person I gave my stroller to for free sold it and kept the money. My kids go to a small school, so all the moms know each other pretty well and are in a group chat. My youngest outgrew her stroller, so I offered it, along with the accessories, including a rain cover, car seat attachment, cup holder, airplane cover, for free to the group. The stroller and the accessories were worth well over $1,000 new and were still in really pristine condition. Another mom was the first person to request it, so I gave it to her implied, but to be fair, didn't explicitly state, that she should pass it on for free when done. Well, turns out she only needed it for one trip to Disney for her almost 4-year-old, and then she sold it after that for $850.
Oh my God.
A friend saw her post and recognized the stroller. I figured technically it was her property after I gave it to her, so I didn't say anything, but I did complain about it to another mom. She told someone else, and it basically spread. The mom I gave the stroller to confronted me and said I was spreading rumors about her and that I never told her there were conditions attached to taking the stroller. I was pretty irritated about her selling it, but I guess I didn't outright tell her she should pass it on for free. I only implied it by saying, quote, "It would be really nice if the stroller were passed on to someone else in the group when you no longer need it." Now, she's really angry with me, and I feel bad since I'm generally a very conflict-averse person. AITA.
Okay, so I feel like I saw a few Reddit situations about this. I personally don't think something is a rumor if it's true. Like, this is not a rumor. This is like you reported on what she did. This is just true. I mean, it's one thing, I guess, if you, like, kind of know someone is cheating on their partner and you spread that around, but this is just like, this is just something she did.
I think so. I don't think the charges of rumor are going to stick.
Thank you. Okay.
Not a rumor. She reported what happened.
No, it's just like, this is facts. You did this.
This is facts. So I think the question to me here is this obviously make you an asshole to do this, right? Like, it was never explicitly said. It was never explicitly agreed upon. To me, it doesn't need to be explicit because it's very much implicit and obvious because they're giving you something that costs $1,000 for free, right? So obviously,
yes, okay,
right? Obviously, there's a reciprocity to that. Now, it's an unusual form of reciprocity. We don't really see this too much. But it basically works a different way where it's like, I'm giving you something that costs $1,000 or whatever, $850 is the street price, whatever. You know, I'm not expecting you to give me something in return, but I am expecting you to continue giving this thing. In other words, you're kind of giving it to this community and to this group to pay it forward. Exactly.
Okay, I'm glad we agree because this could very easily go into the, like, technically she didn't do anything wrong town because it's a gift, and we all know that when you get a gift, it's your property and you can do what you want with it. But I do feel that because I'm in, like, some local just, like, buy nothing groups where if you're, you know, you get rid of your shit and you give it to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the ethos of the group is like, yeah, you're not going in there to flip things and make a buck. Like, you're going there just for, like, the spirit of giving. I don't know.
You nailed it. If the group was, if it was a Craigslist post that said free stroller, I'm getting rid of it, and you go flip that stroller, you do you. You're not part of the Craigslist community, but that was not what this was for. That was obviously not the intent behind this post. It was for a specific community. It was not to be flipped. And it was an unspoken agreement, but why is it spreading like a rumor? It's not a rumor, but it's spreading like one.
Everybody agrees that that's fucked up to do.
It's obviously wrong. It's obviously wrong. It's not illegal.
It's not. It's not illegal. You can be in plausible deniability town all you want, but I hate that place. So, okay, wow. I'm glad we agree. I wasn't sure if we were going to argue on this.
It'd be one thing if she, you know, I think there's certain ways she could spin it. You know, if she said like, I'm really hard up. I saw this as an opportunity And, you know, I'm embarrassed now that I'm being called out, but this is the position I was in. I didn't want to ask you guys for money. I'd be like, okay,
sure,
let's maybe drop it then, guys.
Yeah, then we drop it. If
But
you
somehow,
go directly to the stroller owner and you say that, sure, we're good.
Somehow,
Rumor
I don't think
squash.
that's the case, though. I don't think she was hard up.
I mean, come on. She borrowed a free expensive stroller for a one-day trip to not a one-day, but for one trip to Disneyland. I'm like, you're clearly doing fine.
Yeah.
Give me a
Odubik
break.
wrote NTA. She knew what she was doing. Probably even bragged about it to a friend.
Even if she didn't brag about it, it's like, whatever. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, you know, we haven't talked so much about like implicit things, but I do think, you know, anytime someone is really giving you something and being super kind, you know, it's I think fair, like, to not flipping it is ugly. I think flipping it is genuinely.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you because it's like you're taking something that someone gave out of kindness that they could certainly flip, right? But they're choosing not to.
Exactly.
And then you're turning it into like a moneymaker when it's really supposed to be just about, yeah, I mean, oh my God, there's so few examples of kindness in the world. Like,
Yeah.
it just sucks when someone turns around and tries to make a buck, you know?
Yeah, if you're hard up, you're hard up, and you're at a point where you got to sell a stroller, fine. But like, if you're not, it's like obviously that wasn't the intent there. And like, for instance, this happened to me. I went out here and there was like a storefront that's usually abandoned, and there was these people having like a farmer's market there. And this guy made spoons. He made spoons out of wood. I was very impressed with it. I thought it was kind of beautiful. And anyway, we ended up talking, and he said he wanted this music toy, and I was like, oh my God, it's so funny. I actually have that music toy. It was given to me by someone I no longer speak to, and I would love to give it to you because I never use it. It's basically cursed, but I don't believe the curse will transfer to you. He's very comfortable with this. And
You're very morally pure. It'll be fine. That's funny.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, when I gave it to him, obviously, like, if he flipped it at this point, I'm not in contact with him. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, whatever. But I obviously gave that to him more in the spirit of like, we had a commonality, which is like, we make music. Like that in itself was a tiny micro community. It wasn't nearly as substantial as this one. But I think that giving and kindness like this is to foster community and to foster something that is more important than just money. And I think this person robbed herself of that. Okay.
Ooh, burn. Yeah. I also think that even though OP wasn't like, don't flip this, I think she was perfectly fucking clear by being like, it would be nice. Clear. Like, it was perfectly clear. Like, I don't think, come on, like, we're all adults. It was clear.
Yeah, this is the land of plausible deniability. It really, they are advancing on other territories, and we need to make sure that they do not expand, because that is a shitty land.
It is an unstable place to live.
Very unstable, very chaotic, very corrupt. One of the highest UN human rights ratings of corruption. AITA for being annoyed that the person I gave my stroller to for free sold it and kept the money. We agree wholeheartedly. It's not the asshole. Guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it if you would do that for us. We'd also really appreciate it if you joined us on Patreon. We have 130 plus bonus episodes. Yes. A lot. I'm dropping the live show. I'm crushing it. We're crushing it back there. You'll love it. Anyway, here is Sarah.
AITA for leaving an equal inheritance to my stepson as my bio kids. I, 62M, met my current wife, 39F, 4 years ago.
Boy.
Yeah, I thought that. And we got married 2 years ago. She has a son, 12M, from her previous marriage who lives with us full time. I also have 2 adult children, 34M and 32F, from my first marriage. I'll admit I don't have the greatest track record as a father when my bio kids...
Really?
Danny's already getting fired up.
What with your handful of families?
Yeah. When my bio kids were growing up, we were kind of distant as their mother and I were constantly fighting. However, when they became adults, the kids and I became much closer. My business also grew a lot. I'm quite wealthy now compared to when they were growing up. We were struggling to pay bills. My relationship with my stepson is quite good. He doesn't call me dad, but seems to view me as a very close uncle. We'll take it. I do my best to be a good father figure. If I'm being completely honest, I hope that eventually he will see me as a father figure, especially given that his dad is never really around, constantly disappoints him. So here's the issue. A few weeks ago, while I was going through some things in the basement with my bio kids, the topic of inheritance came up. I mentioned how I plan to include my stepson in my will, and he would get a third of the inheritance. My kids are furious with me now, saying this is unfair, as they had to grow up with a cold, emotionally and physically distant / unavailable father who struggled to bring food to the table. They mention how my stepson gets to live a luxurious childhood with a much kinder and more present and supportive parent than they ever had. Sorry. While not even being my real son. Then on top of that, they would lose out on the inheritance they feel they'd earned from working so hard to repair our relationship after all the damage I did. OP says, to clarify, that's not something they said. It's just something I'm trying to be cognizant of because they absolutely could have walked away but chose to repair our relationship. OP says, I can understand their point of view. They feel like I'm slighting them for my new family with a much younger wife and what they claim is a do-over child. I want to do right by my stepson, but also my bio kids, who did have to put up with a lot more during their childhood than my stepson. AITA for planning to leave an equal inheritance to them.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, this is really a toughie here. In the end, I do feel like the current path, which just to dial in, it's here in the edit, OP is leaving 60% of his assets to all 3 of the kids, so each kid gets 20. The wife gets about 30. But he is now...
Then that actually makes me feel differently, because then effectively the stepson is actually getting much more than his children.
Because you're saying because
his mom's going to spend his money on him.
Yeah, well, he has rethought it now, and he's thinking each bio kid will receive 30%, wife will receive 25%, and stepson will receive 10%. That starts to be a lot more fair sounding to me, if you look at it from Sarah's point of view. I think this is a real toughie, though, because my initial kind of gut here is like, this is a negotiation. I think that's fair. I think everybody gets to kind of say their piece to him. And it also does seem fair and true to me that the upbringings here are not the same, and that is a factor.
Yeah, I can understand, though, wanting to treat all of your kids equally.
Yeah.
But I can also understand why that's a pain point from the kids who didn't really get to reap any of these benefits.
Yeah, exactly right.
Sheesh, tough one.
I mean, I think he's doing all the right things. He's consulting Reddit, which is a resource, and he's talking to the kids. Let's read this top comment here. It went YTA. Why are you treating some random kid that you've known for 2 minutes the same as your actual real kids who you
oh my god, relax.
Failed over and over again? I guess you can leave him a bit, but a third is ridiculous.
Okay, he's not a random kid. Like,
he's not random, and
that's like fucked up. He's not a random kid that he's known for 2 minutes. Gosh.
Right. It's like, it's a little bit intense to...
Yeah. Come on.
I actually think what OP's doing is pretty healthy and not making that child feel like they are an exception. I think that is actually a very toxic thing to do to a stepchild.
Yeah, agree.
Obviously.
So I think the idea behind it is good.
Exactly. The idea behind it is good. The question is it playing out in the inheritance good? I think you really nailed a key point here, though, which is that money that goes to the current wife will realistically reach that son. And so that does need to be part of the equation.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, well, that means you're already giving your new family more than your first family.
Yeah.
Even if you just think of it in families.
I think maybe another helpful way to approach this might be to get a little bit concrete and think about how is this going to affect everyone's life? Because this is a classic money is real, reality is real thing where it's like, what will go down? And you really started that path because it's like, look, realistically, if the wife gets a big windfall, then that son will benefit. And like, you've got to start to look at kind of the second order and third order effects of what you're orchestrating here. I think that's the fairest way to do it and think about, well, how is this going to affect people's lives? Do I kind of owe this sort of, back pay on the fact that I was a shitty father to these kids? I would say yes. I feel like that should be something that you compensate for. It should.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I guess the least he could do.
I mean,
is it weird to like demand money to sort of compensate for the lack of an emotional connection that you'll never make up?
Think of it this way. If you work at an early stage startup, right, you get the most equity. You benefit the most later. Okay, you do. But you also had to work at the shittiest version of the company. You probably worked the hardest and the most, right? And I view the kids as basically they were at the startup when it kind of fucking sucked. And dad was emotionally unavailable. He was working on his business. His business sucked ass at the time. So it's like, yeah, they should be compensated a little bit while dad was basically working his ass off. Like, I don't think that's crazy.
To me, I do like agree with you. Although, like, what I'm getting at is, like, I don't think the money is going to replace what they didn't get. You know what I mean?
No, the money, no, obviously not. I mean, you can't just throw money at it. What can replace that? Nothing, honestly. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing can bring back your formative years. Nothing can bring back the girl that refused to go on a fourth hinge date with me. Nothing. Sorry, I saw it. I saw it. I had to do it. The thing is, nothing can heal the mistakes of formative years, etc. But like, even though this guy does kind of sound like he's a little skeevy, you know, he's trying now. And
I know. At least his wife. Is it bad that my brain went like, well, at least his wife is 40 and not like 25?
Yeah,
like, is that
right?
bad? My standards are so low that I'm like, at least she's age appropriate.
Yeah.
Except almost like not really. That's like my dad dating one of my friends. I don't even know. Anyways.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh, that was weird.
It's a weird. I don't
like imagining that.
It's weird.
And they come to the live show.
AITA show. Yeah.
He's like, I don't even like it. She likes it.
Right.
No. Yeah. I guess I really do feel though that you know, this guy is trying. I understand his impulse. I think his impulse is wrong, having thought through it at this level. You know, Sarah, like, yeah, can you ever make up for mistakes made in your formative years? No, God, no. There's nothing you can do. You can never get those years back. I mean, it's the magic of childhood,
bleak.
You know? It is bleak,
yeah,
but
sure.
I mean, that's why I'm always on about how serious it is to be a parent, because it's like, it's fucking heavy, and you can just, you know, like, God, those are one of the best memories that I have of my, like, a formative memory of my dad is that we went to the airport and watched the planes land. I don't know why, but it always sticks with me. We just sat underneath the flight line at Sky Harbor. And I'm like, well, how many other things did my parents do that they tried to leave me with a positive formative memory? I'm sure there were dozens of things. Disneylands and whatever fucking books and all kinds of little shit you buy your kid. But you gotta just try your best, and you never know what's gonna stick with them. But like, I think it's a really hard thing. Do I think that this could be accounted for with a couple percentage points in their inheritance? Yeah, I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it can help.
It can help because it's fairness, right? It's like, look, I acknowledge that you weren't treated the same way. It wasn't that OP's shortcoming necessarily. It was that the business was in a different state, but you guys were early investors. Right. You were the first kids here. And yeah, those were harder times. And look, I don't think it should be necessarily a huge difference. Maybe it's like, you know, 36, and then somebody else do the math for me, 27, right? Like if we're splitting 100 instead of cutting the wife out, right? You know, something like that. Just something to acknowledge it, right?
Totally.
Tough. This is a toughie, though.
I know it's tough because, like, there are always going to be those people who are like, it's your money, they're entitled, and like, I see that, but also this is like the real world where like your actions are going to have consequences. It's his will. He might not even be around to see those consequences, but like,
yeah,
you know, sticking to these sort of like abstract arguments, or not even abstract, but it's just more like intangible arguments. It's just like, it doesn't really actually absolve like real hurt that's there, you know?
You might as well try. And I honestly, I think it's a pretty healthy thing that it's a negotiation. It's in the open. To me, that says there's a willingness.
Oh my gosh. Also, OP said the kids had a hand in making the business successful because they were willing to help out. Okay,
so
come
there
on.
You go.
They dealt with all the shitty parts of your business and they helped it be successful. Like, holy shit. Okay.
I think at this point, what OP would be the asshole. He would be the asshole if he left an equal inheritance to the stepson. After all this that I've heard. That said, I understand why he had that intuition, and I actually think that comes from a good place.
Kind of. I agree with you. I do think it comes from a good place. I think it's way better than the alternatives that we sometimes see on this subreddit, right?
Oh my God.
Like stepkids get like othered. So
yes.
Yeah, I do think it comes from a good place. I don't think he totally thought it through.
No.
I think when you consider like the mom share as well, that just it's not a good balance as well. So yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, look, he's soliciting feedback on Reddit and through the kids, right? He's not just doing this, right?
You're right.
So really, I'm saying AITA for leaving an equal inheritance to my stepson as my bio kids. Yeah, you would be if you did that. I'm ready to say, like, I guess YTA, time served, or even just call it no assholes here at this point.
I'm just going to say YTA on the situation alone. Like, if you did do it, yeah.
YTA on the title literal.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can live with that. All right, guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon. We'd really appreciate it. $5 a month, tons of extra content. And here we go, wrapping up here on a listener submission. AITA for being upset that no one is coming to our bonfire.
Oh.
My Arizona is in the chat. My fiance, 20M, and I, 20F, decided to host a bonfire today, 10/1. Okay, I don't know why we need to broadcast the date, but fine.
You know, the 10/1 bonfire.
Yeah.
It's a big day.
If it was on October 2nd, our verdict would be completely different. Now, we don't usually host things, especially not larger get-togethers, so I was super excited. I brought hot dogs and buns, ketchup, and mustard, and crazy mugs for everyone, for hot chocolate.
Crazy mugs.
We love a crazy mug.
That's cool.
We invited 17 people, most of which were couples, and 4 were our sisters and their boyfriends. I sent the invites over a week in advance. I was sure that some people wouldn't be able to come due to kids and work and things like that. But out of the 17, only one person said they could come. One single person. Some people had transportation issues, and I offered to pick them up and take them home, and 2 of them never responded to my messages, and the other one is the one person that's coming. I cleaned my entire house for this and spent a ton of money. I'm so torn up. I was so excited. AITA.
Oh, man. I feel sad for OP. It's given, like, Pawpaw, right? That grandpa who, like,
Papa.
nobody came to his... Sad Pawpaw, that meme from, like, years ago where nobody came to his birthday party and he was sad.
Aw, I didn't even know about that.
Oh, yeah. Now I made your day worse, so sorry.
I feel this so deep, OP. I have, like, always had an issue with events, and they're very stressful for me.
It is stressful. Like, anytime I throw a birthday party, I'm always just like, you have to try to not be cognizant of, like, who's there, who's not there.
I think you nailed it. It's a sad calculation because here's how I try to. Well, first of all, from a planning perspective, OP, you did make a mistake. I love you, but this was an error, right? First, you need to get the RSVPs in, then you purchase the supplies.
Then you buy the crazy mugs. Then you buy them.
You're not an asshole for that. You made a mistake. That's okay.
Yeah, you did. Hopefully you can return them, otherwise you're drowning in crazy mugs.
Yeah, you got a lot of crazy mugs. I mean, this is the proverbial, my friend dropped me on this one. This is such a banger. Don't count those chickens before they hatch. That's okay.
So it's a classic.
It's a classic. Some of the cliches so good, though we ripped apart honesty is the best policy. So anyway, whatever. Yeah, like, that's just a mechanical issue. I think the other aspect is here, maybe there's a problem with your inviting. Did you send out a group text? Did you message people individually? It just seems, put more thought next time into kind of building this up. Maybe did you give people enough time, enough leeway so that they would be able to plan for this, et cetera, because you seem like a nice person.
Yeah, over a week in advance is not actually really enough time for, like, people with adults. Sorry, not people with adults. For people who are adults and have, like, kids and stuff. Like, honestly, I have plans next week already. Sorry.
Right.
That, like, people have things.
Yeah, so...
Not to say that you're an asshole and it's not to land a charge, but, I mean, you're 20 years old, so, like...
Yeah, and,
it's okay.
And here's a classic script flip I like to pull on myself and be like, oh... I threw a thing and only whatever, a third of the people came or whatever. And it's like, so you're still hanging out with 4 friends. When do I ever hang out with 4 friends? It's like
so
ridiculous, you know?
So
you, even though 1 out of 17 is a pretty low percentage, I think you could do better though. I feel like there's probably another issue with your planning that got you so low, because 5% is pretty low. I feel like you could still, do a script flip and be like, look, I get to hang out with fucking Johnny, baby.
There we go. Yeah, so we get to eat all the hamburgers and hot dogs we want.
Plenty of food, Johnny. You go crazy, you
Just
animal.
Your one friend who could come is Joey Chestnut. You'll be good. You actually didn't buy enough food.
Yeah, right. He's gonna be hungry after. But I love that we did this, even though there is really no asshole component. You just feel bad. You don't have the right to be mad at anyone, right? Nobody did this to you.
Unless they all said they would come and then didn't show up.
And that's not what happened.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
You know, 2 of them who never responded to your message. I don't know. That can be normal though too. Like, don't be afraid. Sometimes you got to chase people to get them to go to your thing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you got to hassle them just to get a direct yes or no.
Yeah. But this is great because I don't know if we've ever covered something just so, God, this is so universal. This lasts forever. This is your whole life. The awkwardness of people coming, not coming, inviting, not inviting. This is like a powerful metaphor for weddings and just life and social relations, you know?
It's kind of wholesome.
It is wholesome. And let me tell you something. If you give me the proper notice, I'll try to hit your bonfire, OP. You seem like a gem.
There we go.
Am I an asshole for being upset that no one is coming to our bonfire? I think we agree wholeheartedly. No assholes here.
No assholes here.
We wish you a very happy next bonfire. I think it's going to come together for y'all. Maybe throw a theme on that thing. I don't know. 10-1 rando theme. Maybe do a Halloween Bonnie. I don't know. Yeah, I called it a Bonnie.
Ooh, I love a Halloween bonfire. I support.
Sarah rejects Bonnie. All right, guys.
I do. Wholeheartedly. Reject.
There we go. So don't invite Sarah to the Bonnie. All right. No. Much love, all y'all. You guys are the best. And we'll see you next Monday morning. Bye.
Bye.